So far, we have talked about a lot. We have covered a lot about the APA format. We have covered a lot in terms of understanding how they want their papers to be formatted. We already know they need a cover page. And we are using the most current edition of the APA, which is the 7th edition. So in case you've interacted with APA 6, things might look a little bit different. But I think once we are done with everything, I might share a video with you guys so that you have a look at how APA 6 edition used to look like. Yep. So we have talked about everything related to APA, but one area that I feel we need to relearn or redo is the aspect of in-text citation. But I can't talk about in-text citation without also talking about research and citing. So when we are looking for our answers on the internet, we are usually encouraged to refer to scientific material. And the database that you will be using to access scientific materials, academic sources, we call it the Google Scholar database. So this is a database for scholarly material. The word scholar here, I think that should be clear, is that we will be interacting or referring to scholarly resources. I know we have another database which is the Google, okay, the search engine that all of us use every day. Google is a good place to begin because it gives you a general idea. You can get an idea of what everybody else out there thinks about the topic or the whatever you're looking for on the internet. But it's not a good place in terms of credibility. When you are on Google, you need to be very careful with what you refer to. So that's why we are usually encouraged to use Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is not an application that you need to download. I've had people ask me, I don't have that application. It's just a website. You can just search it on Google, and you can just open it. What I've done is that I've pinned some of the websites I use frequently on my bookmark. So that's why I just click on it and it launches. And you can do that as well. It just makes everything easier instead of typing every time Google Scholar, opening it. Yeah, so you can also pin these on your bookmarks bar so that you can access them easily. So we have two search engines here. We have Google Scholar, which is strictly for, as the name suggests, strictly for scholarly resources. The word scholar in this case means scholarly. Okay, so scholarly material, like I've already explained to most of you, these are resources usually written by experts using following scientific methods of research. Scientific methods, maybe you've encountered articles, they have something called an abstract, an introduction, maybe justification, background, methodology, maybe sampling, data collection, data analysis, results, and then conclusion. So those are just the processes scientists usually follow when they want to do a research. And it's very different when you're talking about websites and blogs because these websites don't follow these processes. In most cases, blogs might have opinions. Not all blogs, but in most cases, blogs will have people's opinions, okay, on certain issues in society. And that's why we try to avoid blogs and websites because these are people's opinions and people can understand facts, or even exaggerate facts to arrive at a certain conclusion. So, but when we are talking about scholarly resources, these resources have a scientific backing to them, which means, and some of them actually, they are actually peer reviewed. And the process of peer review is that somebody is an expert in a certain field, they go out, do a research, publish everything, but before this, the material they have published is made public, their peers, the word peer refers to, people in the same field. Look, if you're an accountant, your peers are fellow accountants. So peers review the paper before it's published. So peers will know if you're lying. They know if you're understating facts or if you are exaggerating facts. So most scholarly sources might also be peer reviewed, which is even better. Okay, but I'm not saying all of them are. So when you're a Google Scholar, you're likely to find scholarly resources, which now means scientific articles and journals. You can also find government reports, non-governmental reports, conference reports. All these sources are usually more credible than blogs and websites. So the good thing about Google Scholar, and by the way, we have so many of these scholarly databases. You also have another one called EBSCOhost, you have CINAHL, you have PubMed, you have Procare. So we have quite a number of them. But at this point, I just want us to understand Google Scholar, because the good thing about Google Scholar is that you don't need to create an account to use it. Okay? But when you go to these other ones, you might even have to subscribe at a fee for you to use them. So the good thing about Google Scholar is that it's free. You don't need anything, an account to use it. You don't need to pay anything to use it, so it's free. So that's why we are using Google Scholar. And also another thing is that it also helps you to organize, to create the references, okay, the citations and the references. So like I already explained in the earlier classes, when you have an assignment, the first place to go is to look at the notes provided along with the assignment. So you go through the book chapters, if there are book chapters provided. You look through if you can find anything to start writing about or talking about. You also interact with the PowerPoint presentations that you've been provided, or the website or the links or any other resources for that matter that might have been given to you by the person you're assisting. After that, you also need to ask yourself, do you feel like there's anything you know about that topic that you can write about? Do you know already some answers, some parts of the answer that you can start with? And then now you go to general Google. Just go to Google. I know I've already told you that it's not a credible source, because most of the things here are not necessarily scholarly or academic or quality or credible. But all the same, the materials on Google are usually in summary form. They use layman language. You can easily access them for free. You don't have to pay. So you will first of all go to Google, just key in whatever you're looking for. If the question is too long, you need to break it down into bits that you can look for easily on the internet. Because if you paste in a full page of a question, of course, Google will not help you. So you look for keywords, break down the question into smaller bits that you can easily search on the internet. So you get ideas mostly from the book chapters or your head or Google. Once you have your ideas, just go ahead and write those ideas down. Okay, let's say you are talking about maybe you are talking about the effects of social media on teenagers, and you maybe personally you already know that social media causes or encourages cyberbullying among teenagers. So you can just go ahead and talk about that. Write it down, explain the connection between cyberbullying and teenagers and social media, sorry, and what cyberbullying does to teenagers. Why is it a problem? Just explain it fully. After you've done that, the next stage is to go to Google Scholar, look for a study, okay? A study that connects the two, a study that established that indeed social media is a precursor for cyberbullying among teenagers. So to do that, you just come and type cyberbullying. So cyberbullying and social media. You can just add social media. You don't have to type the entire sentence. Google Scholar understands. It understands what you're looking for. And it will give you a list of resources that you can evaluate and decide if you want to use one of these. So just to demonstrate that this is one source. I think my mini is misbehaving. There's a problem with this page. So you identify this, or this is one source. I don't know what this functionality is not, doesn't seem to be working. So this is one article, okay? Cyberbullying. It is written by somebody called T. Freeberg and Robbie. Okay, they published it by they publish some place called some websites or journal called The Education Digest, published in 2009. So it's available through ProQuest. So beneath here, below here, you can see they have given you a few sentences of what is included in this article, okay, in this source. So you can read the title. This is the article's title, just called cyberbullying. Then you can go over here and read a little bit of these sentences given here. By the time you're done with that, you can now make a decision whether you want to read it more. Do you think it has something that might help you with what you're looking for? Okay, so if you decide that's the article you want to use, go ahead and open it. I like opening in new tab because this allows me to continue scrolling. But if I was to click here, I don't have the page I was scrolling anymore. I don't have Google Scholar anymore. And I wanted to maintain Google Scholar so that I can continue scrolling and looking for other sources. And we go to the next one, the nature of cyberbullying and strategies for prevention. So cyberbullying has been identified as an important problem among youth in the last decade. This paper reviews, I'm reading here, this paper reviews some recent findings. So this paper reviews some recent findings and discusses general concepts within this area. The review covers definition issues such as repetition and power imbalance. So based on this, maybe you might not want to open this because it doesn't really give you that connection you're looking for, the connection between cyberbullying and social media. Okay, but anyway, the process starts with you getting the answer. First of all, get the answer from whatever source you can get, as long as it's an answer you can easily explain, an answer that you can confirm with the scholarly database. So write that answer down. Once the answer is already written, the next step is now to come here and verify. Look for a study that confirms what you've just written down. That is the easiest way to do this. So once you've identified the study, you open it, confirm that they actually concur with what you've written down. That is the best way to do it. Don't just guess. The problem of guessing is that you might even cite an article that doesn't even have anything to do with what you've written down. And I've seen this happen many times. People just, as long as it has the word cyberbullying, you believe it's going to, to claim cyberbullying is caused by social media. So it's very important that you actually confirm with the article. Open it, okay? Open it and read it. Not the entire document, but once you've opened it, you can use the Control F function. Press Control and F. It will open up a search box where you can type in keywords. Okay, so type in the keywords. It will highlight within that document where those keywords are appearing, and then you can just go around those keywords and read around that area alone. So you don't have to read the entire article. The thing we are doing here is just to confirm that this study or this source actually claims that cyberbullying is caused by social media. Okay, so once you've confirmed that this article is the one you want to use, the next stage is to cite it within the file. So let me just launch my Office, get some paragraphs written down. I'm not going to write that down from scratch because that will spend a lot of time, and we don't want to waste time on things that we can just do later during our free time. So let me just create a bunch of text here. So I believe, let me just assume that you are talking about effects of social media on, and then you have these points. Okay, the first thing you found on the internet was that it causes cyberbullying. Okay, so this is the point under cyberbullying. So you've explained, maybe you got the entire idea from your head, or you read a blog on the internet, on Google, or a website, just any random website you came across and you read it, it gave you the ideas. Of course, you're not going to copy word by word. You're going to write it in your own words, okay? You can read a sentence at a time and paraphrase the sentence in your head, or just read an entire passage and go and write what you remember. That is the easiest way to do this. I've seen some people looking for synonyms. You find a text written on the internet and your way of paraphrasing is replacing the word with their synonyms. Like the word brown, you try to look for a synonym of the word brown so that it doesn't look the same. That is not the right way to do it. The right way is just read the entire passage, either paragraph by paragraph, and then go to your office word and try to just recreate the entire thing, what you remember. Just try to put it in your own way, the way would you explain it, because they've already given you the idea. They have told you how you can explain it. So it's just up to you to go back to your office word and type what you can remember from that passage. So you can try to go with a few sentences at a time. Maybe read 3 sentences, go and type those 3 sentences in your own word without having to look for synonyms. Remember, there are only a few synonyms for each word. In fact, some words don't have a synonym. So if you are trying to look for synonyms, chances are that you'll be using the same synonym that another student from another school used. So at the end of the day, you'll just find yourself still plagiarizing. So, but if you try just to put ideas in your own words, rethink the idea, recreate the ideas based on what you've understood, it becomes way easier. And it's very difficult to commit plagiarism because apparently God created us so different. There's no way we can think exactly the same. We can't. It's not possible for us to think exactly the same. Even in schools, we are taught by the same teachers. We eat the same food for those who went to boarding school. They sleep in the same dormitories. But at the end of the day, when the exams the exams come, people will score differently. Okay, others will get A, others will get a D, others will even get an E. So we are so different. The way we think, the way we express our ideas is so different. So if we just read the text and go and put it in your own words, it's very difficult for you to have, put the idea in the same way another person somewhere in the world could have done. It doesn't happen. Maybe for common things like when you're talking about somebody's bibliography. Maybe you're talking about Bill Gates was born this year. He went to this school. After this school, he went to this college. With that, it's very hard for you to put it in any other way. The year this person was born is just that year. You can't put it in any other way. It has to be that way. The school this guy went to, you can't really paraphrase that or even rephrase it or put it in your own way. Some things have to be said in a certain order, and everybody will have to say them in that order. So in that case, even if you commit plagiarism, it will be excused. It's an expected or allowed plagiarism. But in other areas, you can't really say the same things, construct a sentence in the same way somebody else would. And not to forget that we are over 7 billion people on the planet, but it happens, it's not even easier for her to have people think exactly the same and write exactly the same words, use the same, diction, use the same organization of sentences. It's not the same. So it's not easy to commit plagiarism when you get ideas from your head. So once you identify a good article that has an answer, read part of the answer, maybe a paragraph by paragraph. It's not possible to read the entire document so that you go and recreate. Go point after point. Read the first point, maybe it's cyberbullying. Look at how they have explained it. How have they explained, according to this article, what is the connection between social media and cyberbullying? Once you hack that, once you understand that, you can just go ahead and put it in your own words. If they are given examples, give your own example. Don't repeat the same examples they have given. Try to think if you can come up with your own examples. If they are saying cyberbullying causes these effects, try to look for other effects that this person did not include to include them there. Or even add the effects of cyberbullying that this person did not include in the article. That's how you get the ideas. But at the end of the day, once you've done writing down your idea, the next stage is to now uh, collaborate the story you've written down with a scientific article. You need to actually go and um, support your ideas. We call it supporting. You support the idea you have with a scientific article. So we were talking about Google Scholar, and I was saying if you are doing research on using Google Scholar and you came across this article and you feel it is saying what you've written down, it is confirming that yes, indeed, social media is a precursor of cyberbullying. The next stage is to cite it. So to cite it, you can see there are a bunch of links or buttons here. We have the one with an asterisk, save. You have the cite button, cited by. Cited by is saying this article has been cited by 203 other people. So again, the more the people have used this article, the more relevant this article is in terms of cyberbullying as a topic. So if you see an article cited by 200 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, it means many people used it to write their papers on the topic of cyberbullying. But again, it doesn't really mean that it's the best, because obviously a paper published 10 years ago is more likely to have been cited by many people than a paper published yesterday. And it doesn't mean the one published 10 years ago is better than the one published yesterday because of the number of people that have cited it. So again, it's all about reading the title of the article and opening it, confirming that it's actually relevant to what you are writing, and it actually agreeing with the points that you have already written down or the points that you want to write down. Okay, so once you've decided that this one is the one relevant to the point you have, you just click on the cite button. When you click on the cite button, I don't know if I'm presenting. If you click on the cite button, let me just get it from here. Now, if you've identified this the article you want, the next thing is just to click on cite. Okay, so once you click on cite, it will launch several citation options. Okay, you can have it as MLA formatted reference, APA, Chicago, Harvard, Vancouver, and we'll be looking at some of these. Okay, so at this point we are still on APA. So if it's APA that you want, you just bring your cursor above it and click. Once you click, it will highlight everything, and then you can just copy by either using shortcut Control C or right clicking and saying copy. So once you've copied this, you won't put it on this page. I usually encourage or just open another blank page where you paste your references. So at this point, this is the reference. This is what will appear on the reference page. Okay, but you need to put something within the text. Okay, within this paragraph, somewhere within this paragraph, before we put this on the reference page. So once we have this, you identify the authors. So the APA uses the author date format in-text citations, and I think I've already given you videos about in-text citation. You know what an in-text citation is, you know when we use them and the different formats that we use them. I think everybody has learned that. So at this point, we identify there are two authors. You have the first author called Feinberg T, and remember they only care about the surname, so the other names are just written as initials. So maybe this guy is Thomas Feinberg. We don't care about the T, but we know the surname is Feinberg, and the other author is Robbie. Okay, Robbie N. The N could stand for Nelson, could stand for anything, for all we care. But at this point, we identify the author. So there are two authors here. So according to APA, if you identify an article that has one author, let me just use this one. Let me just copy paste this one and put it here. So let me delete the second author. Let me just pretend there is one author. So that will be Feinberg T. If you identify an article with one author, the in-text citation will be, you open the default way, you open the bracket and then you just write their surname, Feinberg, comma, 2009. You see, we have not picked the other name, the initials of the other name. We have only taken the surname alone. It should always be the surname alone. Please don't put the in-text citation to include the surnames, the other names, the T's and the N's. So if in this case we have an article with two authors, the in-text citation will be, let me just copy paste them because I don't want to type in text time. So it will be Feinberg and I'm deleting the T. So it will be Feinberg and Robbie, comma, 2009, close bracket. So this is one author, these are two authors. That is the in-text citation, the one that we'll put within the paragraph. This is what we'll copy paste within the paragraph. So for two authors, it will be Feinberg and Robbie. And remember, it's and the ampersand. We are not using the usual and, the AND. We are using the ampersand. So once you've identified an article, look how many authors are there. If there is one author, we have no problem. Just Feinberg, comma, 2000, and it's very critical that you understand this. There's a space before the year. You don't combine the comma and the year. There has to be a space. After the comma, put a space. And I've seen other people putting a space and then putting a comma there. I don't know what English is this. You can't put a comma hanging. If you're using a comma, it has to be immediate. Once again, is that I want to confirm that to emphasize that it's Frinberg, comma, space bar, and then the year. The same here is Frinberg and Robbie, comma, space, and then the year. So if you encounter an article with 3 authors, let me just put this one. Let me just copy paste this one and add another author. Okay, let me add another author and Aswani, comma B. So that is my name. So I've added myself there. So if you find an article with 3 authors, at no point will you be citing including all their surnames within the in-text. You just use into bracket the first author. Is it Feinberg? ETAL, and then comma, then now put the year. So ETAL is just a Latin word to mean and others. But even then, it is not written in full. The ETAL is shortened. That's why we put that full stop, the period immediately after the L. Just the same way when we talk about Mr. When you say Mr., you know, we put a period after the R. Okay. But you know, write in full, we don't put a period. The same way, this ETAL, because it's a shortened thing or word, we put a period. So it comes like ETAL dot. Okay, that is how it is. It never changes. Whenever you're using it, make sure it's ET space AL dot. I'm emphasizing ET space AL dot. And then the usual comma before the year. There's always a comma before the year. And once again, after the comma, English tells us whenever you put a comma somewhere, before the next character, you put a space. Okay, space is always the next character. So you don't just write that way. It's wrong. Okay, so you have to put a space. Okay, so this is for 3 authors. So if there are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 authors, you never write all of them. Just write Feinberg and others. But the and others, you don't write it and others as in full. You use ETAL. Okay, ET space AL dot. Of course, now the usual comma and then the year. So in this case, it was just 2 authors. It was just 2 authors. So we are gonna just pick. I can just copy everything, but I remember to delete the T and the N. But if you feel you can forget and you have all the time in the world, just copy the first name. Before you put the full stop, open the opening bracket, paste, right and space. Go back to the other document, copy the second surname, and then paste, put a comma, space, go back, copy the year, paste, and then closing bracket, and then the full stop. The full stop comes at the end of this sentence. So the in-text is part of the sentence. This in-text citation here is part of this sentence, the preceding sentence. So if you put a full stop here, this actually means this sentence ended here, and this in-text citation is a sentence on its own, which is wrong. So the in-text citation must be part of that sentence. So the full stop comes at the end and not before the in-text citation. That is also very important. The full stop comes at the end because the citation is part of the sentence. So this is how you do. But if you don't want to waste time, you can just open the bracket, copy everything up to this point, paste, and then remember what you need to delete. You need to delete this and delete this too. So, and again, this always, whenever you write 2 words in English, this has nothing to do with academic writing. Whenever there are 2 words, you can't combine them. Like you can't combine the Freiburg and the ampersand. I've seen some people do this. I don't know. This means this is one name. If you combine it, means it's one word, one name. Okay. So the and should be on its own. And of course, now the Robbie on its own. So this is a citation that you have here. So once you do this, what happens here is that somebody reading this paper will understand that you are referring them to go and read this article. So what they'll do, they'll scroll down to the reference page where they'll find you've listed all of these. Okay, so maybe you wanted to cite another one. Maybe let's just assume this is another paragraph. Let me just copy this and pretend this is another paragraph. So maybe you wanted to cite this as well. You'll have an opening paragraph, an opening bracket, and you go to Google Scholar, look for another article. Maybe so let's say this one, click cite, copy the APA ones. Then you have that. So that is the second entry. So it's just one author. We're just copying the surname, and remember the year is 2012. So paste the name, comma, space 2012, then closing bracket, full stop comes at the end. So somebody reading your paper will come to this point, will see this always, and if they're interested, they'll go scroll down to reference, because we put the reference page on its own separate page at the bottom. They'll go there, open that document, and they can read more about it. So that is putting the citation at the end of the sentence is the default way of doing citations in APA. However, we have other systems where you can start with the citation before the idea. We also call that oral citations. Okay, so instead of putting it at the end, you can even put it at the beginning. So let's say you're talking about an idea, and then you've read somebody's work. This somebody's his name is Aswani. So you can just say according to Aswani. In this case, only the year will be in parentheses. Of course, according to Aswani, comma, that the comma comes after the year. And then now you can paste write the idea that Aswani said. Okay, maybe if it was this. So that is another way of doing it. This is called oral citations. But even when you're using this system, remember only the year is in brackets. That is for one author. If you wanted for two authors, this will be, let me just copy this. But you guys already have these videos. Okay, you already have these videos. Let's say you. So remember, when you are putting it at the end, like we said that you use the ampersand. But when you are using according to, since this citation is part of a sentence, is part of the grammar part of the sentence, use the usual and. But if it was at the end of this sentence, like you wanted to put Aswani and Eula, you'll use the ampersand. If you are using this system, of course, you'll use this ampersand. But if you're using according to, use the usual and. It's confusing, but you guys will get a hang of it with time. So it doesn't have to be according to, it can be as Aswani and Eula explained in the article, okay, as in, as Aswani and Eula into bracket 2022 explain in their book, could be a book, article, wherever, okay, in their book or article. Let me just use the article, okay. Then the sentence or whatever the idea you're talking about, just have that there. So this is for two authors. If you it was for three authors, according to Aswani, ETAL, and the usual full stop or period, and then 2022. Okay, so it will be according to Aswani ETAL. You remember when you're using this system, you don't put a comma here. Okay, we don't put a comma after the surname. We just put a space and then the year in parentheses, in brackets. So this is what we call the oral citations. Okay, so I don't know if anybody has a question. Yeah, so it's okay that a paragraph can contain your own words as long as you support it from academic source. Exactly. Okay, if you already have your own words, you can go along with that, and then just go and support those ideas with a scholarly source, a scientific source from Google Scholar. Okay, so you can have your own ideas, just put those ideas down, but it's always good. Depends on how many citations they have asked you to use. They might tell you write this topic using 5 sources. So you'll have your ideas and then you look for 5 sources to support different ideas within the paper. Yeah, when citing ndio tunatumia ETAL ama hadi kwa references. Hapana, references we just copy paste what is on the Google Scholar. Whatever Google Scholar gives you, that's what you copy paste. References you copy paste wenye unatoa tu kwa Google Scholar unaweka huko. You don't interfere with that. Watu umetoa kwa Google Scholar umeweka kwa hiyo reference like we did here. Watu umeweka hapa. Ndio unaangalia what you will put on the in-text citation depends on how many authors there are. Okay? After umeweka kwa hii page yetu yenye tutakuja tu copy paste once you are done, we'll take it and put it pale chini. Let's say this is our work. Okay? We'll put it at the bottom. Tutaweka pale at the end, put it here. Of course itakuwa na fresh page, so we insert a page break so that we push it to the freshest, the next available blank page. Okay, this will be centered. So once this is what we'll have on the reference page, and whatever we have here, we copy pasted from Google. We don't change anything. The way it is, just paste it. So for this citation, for this source, for this, these are 2 entries, by the way. This was the article. The first article we cited. This one, the other article. So whatever we cite, will depend on how many sources, how many authors we have. If it's one author, we'll just have that always. Okay. If it's 2, we'll have the 2. If it's more than 2, we'll have the ETAL. So whatever is on the reference page, you don't interfere with that. You just get it from Google Scholar and paste it is. When citing ndio tunatumia ETL ama hadi kwa references. Can you use oral citations to cite after making summary of your idea? Summary of your idea. Yeah, obviously when you are citing, academic writing basically wewe kutumia tu idea zako unless hizo idea zako ziko same na ideas za scientists. Kama idea tu ni wetu kitu, you are the only person in the world who thinks that, then you rather not write that. So even if it's your idea, before you write it down, go online and counter check if there are articles, scholarly articles that actually have the same things. If you are claiming COVID-19 causes malaria, okay, and you happen to be the only one thinking that COVID-19 causes malaria, then don't write it. Before you write it first, just go to Google Scholar, look if there's an article that connects COVID-19 and malaria. So you have to write something that a scientist would actually, there's a scientific article that actually says so. So even if it's your idea, because as a writer, you are expected and supposed to be citing materials, scientific materials. Find a way to integrate your ideas with other scientists, or not other scientists, scholars have said. So it's okay to even start, according to Aswani, Kenya is one of the most developed countries, when in reality, the idea of developed country was yours. But you also counter-check and realize that Aswani also the same, and Aswani is a scholar. So yes, it's your idea, you're writing your idea, that you just got it from your head, but because you can't submit an article without references, okay, you have to find a way to cite somewhere, something, a point. Maybe the idea of being the most developed is your own, but maybe the next idea in that paper is not your own, so you'll have to find somewhere to cite. Because you'll be given the minimum. You'll be asked to write an article, this topic, and use a minimum of, let's say, 5 references. That means consult at least 5 different documents. And each of these documents you consult must have an in-text citation somewhere within the body and a corresponding entry in the reference page. Okay, and again, in the videos I explained that you can cite one article many times within your paper. Okay, the article, this source that you are calling here Aswani and Yola can appear in this paragraph, can come and appear somewhere else here, as long as it's still the same idea. Okay, as long as it's whatever you're claiming actually is within that document. But citing this article, the Aswani and Yola article 20 times in this paper, does not mean you have now 20 sources. That's just one source that you've referred to several times within the document. So when they say you need to have 5 sources, they actually meaning 5. Okay, that is also important that you guys understand that. When they say they want you to cite 5 sources, they actually mean that you need to refer to 5 different documents. It's okay, one document can be cited 10 times, but that's just still one document. Can you use citations to cite after making some of your own ideas? Yeah, but a summary is a conclusion, I believe. You don't have you don't need citations in a conclusion. A summary is a conclusion, I believe. After umeandika umazana, you start with an introduction, the body, and then the summary. Summary is a conclusion. I don't understand that, but I hope I've answered you. Citing inafanywa tu at least at the beginning and the end of a paragraph. Yeah, with paragraph. You can even cite here. Yeah, maybe you are giving examples. Let me just let me give me a few minutes to need type kitu hapa. So here, I've written a paragraph, but please, I'm just using these citations for learning purposes. I don't mean there's any article written by Aswani or Yula. But you can see I put the citation within this paragraph. It doesn't have to be at the end or at the beginning. It can be anywhere. Put the citation where you have actually referred to something, or where you feel you put a very important figure. Right there and then put the citation there. You don't have to wait to put it at the end of the paragraph. If you feel there's something you want to relate to, or something you want to quote, just put it right there where it actually applies. Okay? If it applies to the entire paragraph, then you can just put it at the end of that paragraph. But if it applies in just a specific example you're giving, just cite that, put that citation at the end of that sentence or at the beginning of that sentence alone. The sentence can be anywhere within the paragraph. It can be at the beginning of the paragraph, in the middle of the paragraph, or even at the end of the paragraph. So just put the citation where it actually applies. That is the best. And again, you can have several citations in a paragraph. Like in this case, I have two. I have the article by Aswani and the other one by Yula and Olaro. Okay, so you can put the citation anywhere within, it doesn't have to be at the end. Making reference by copy paste, you may find the font changes. How will you handle this? Yeah, when you paste something, Word will give you some options to change the format. Let's say if I copy and paste this sentence, if I paste this sentence here, this option can pop up. I don't know if you guys see. Kuna option will pop up. This is the option that the word allows you to select which font do you want to use when pasting. So if you see the first option is telling you keep source formatting. Keep source formatting is just the same, the way English means. Keep source, the source, which means maintain the format of that text. The format this text had when you removed it from whatever you got it from. So it will come with the format it had from where it was. And remember, if you're copying from different websites will be using different fonts. So when you paste it and you maintain that font, it will come with that font on this document. The second option is called merge formatting, which means it combines whatever it was there with what you have on your page. Then you can see paste as a picture, don't use this, and then you have keep text only. Keep text only is usually you use when maybe from where you're copying the text, there were hyperlinks in some words, and you don't want to maintain those hyperlinks. You just want the text alone, or there was a table, but you don't want to copy paste the table. You just want the text part of the table. Use text only. Okay, so there are these options. So when you paste something and you see this pop-up come here, you need to select that. But you realize this wastes a lot of time. There's a way you can instruct your software to always automatically merge the format. Okay, to always, you don't have to, when you paste using shortcut keys, which is Control V. Okay, copying is Control C, pasting is Control V. So you can tell your software, whenever I paste using a Control V, automatically transform the format from any other thing that it was to Times New Roman .12 double spacing. And you do that by coming to this option. I hope I'm still presenting. If you go to the menu ribbon, you have the clipboard group, you have font, paragraph, styles, editing. So you come to clipboard group here. There are some options hidden here. So there's a drop down arrow here. Click on it. Sorry, not even here. Come here under the word paste, okay? Under the word paste. Just click, there's an arrow, down looking arrow over here. Just click on that arrow, and then it will open up a bunch of options. So click on set default paste. So just click on it. It will launch this page under advanced, okay? So just scroll down to this cut, copy, and paste, this option here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you have to scroll a little bit so that you can see it clearly. So I'm just scrolling so that I can see these options. So under this area, cut, copy, and paste, we have 4 options that I want you to change. There's 4. The first one is named pasting within the same document. So make sure you select merge. Pasting between documents, make sure you also select merge. Pasting between documents when style definitions conflict, also select merge. Pasting from other programs, this is the one that we are talking about. This is the one you're copying from another program. From maybe you're using Chrome. Chrome is another program. You're pasting to another program called Office Word. So this is the one that will affect us most. So make sure this one is also merge text. So whenever you paste, like in my case, whenever I get something from the internet, when I paste, you wouldn't even notice. It will automatically transform to Times New Roman .12. So that's how you go about that. You just go to the paste option here, click on it, click on set default paste. And then just scroll a little bit to see these options, and then set the 4. All of them should be on merge, 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 merge. So once you have that, whenever you paste using the keyboard shortcut of Control V, it will always automatically transform the text to the required font. Like I was copying this and I was pasting this here. You wouldn't even notice it's already on times New Roman 1.12. But if I was to maintain the format that it had, it will be this format, which is now what we call Arial 10. So you'll end up having a document which has so many formats, many fonts. So make sure you have that setting done. But if you don't want to set it as default, there's always a pop-up that comes when you paste something. So use that. But if you're using the right-clicking option, okay, so something is on your clipboard, you want to paste. Right-click, it will give you paste options. So there are 3 options. There are keep source formatting, merge formatting, and keep text only. So always use this, the merge formatting option when you're using right-clicking, when you're right-clicking to paste, if you don't want to use shortcuts, the Control-C and Control-V. So you just come where you want to paste, you right-click. Before you say paste, there are 3 options here. Make sure you select the one named merge formatting so that it automatically transforms that to the required font and spacing. Okay, I think those are the questions that I saw here. Any other thing that somebody wants to ask, you can just paste them and then I'll take a look at them. But I hope you've understood that aspect. I hope the video is recording, by the way, because it's very important. Sometimes I click on the stop button by mistake and it stops recording. So let's talk about something else briefly. Okay, briefly. We have like a few minutes left. Let me talk about something else briefly, very briefly. So in academic writing, sometimes you might find that you go to Google Scholar, you're looking for an article, and there's nothing there related to your article, to the points you're looking for. And it's very normal because remember, scientific articles take time. I remember when I was writing a paper on COVID-19 back in 2020, February or January, thereabout. And I went to Google Scholar and there was nothing completely on Google Scholar about COVID-19. The reason is that for science, for scientific or scholarly sources to be ready, it takes a little bit of time. This person has to actually collect data. They have to do analysis. And even after they compile everything and they write everything down, it is not yet ready for publishing. They have to submit it to a peer review website where it's reviewed so that everything is checked out to prevent people lying and overstating facts. So for an article to be ready, it may take around 4 months for an article to be ready to be published for others to see. So sometimes when you're doing research, you might encounter a problem whereby you're on Google Scholar and you can't find any article, okay, that can help you, that can support your ideas. But when you go to Google, you find so many of them, only that they are not scholarly. Okay, let me just only they are not scholarly. So what do you do then? What you do, you just create the citation yourself. Create the citation yourself and cite it. So far, you guys know when Google in arrange. Google in arrange. If you are to look at this, let me delete this other entry. How does it arrange? So it is Freeberg, which is the surname, and then the other names are initialized. Okay, after the surnames and the names of all the authors involved, there's the year in brackets, then there's a full stop, then there's the title of the article, and then the publisher, and then the page numbers or journal information in case it's a journal. Okay. So if you are reading this article on the internet, this article is not scholarly. It's not on Google Scholar. The author in this case is Alice J. Walton. Okay. So you come here and you have to cite this. So you can just arrange this article in the same manner that Google Scholar does, manually. So first of all, identify the author. And then, let me just skip a few lines. So identify the author, the title, the year, the publisher, And then in this case, because it's a website, not a journal article, it won't have the journal information. Like, by the way, these are journal information. This is volume 74, maybe version 7, page 26. That's how Google arranges them, okay? So in this case, you don't have that, you get the URL, okay? So the author in this case is, you can just go and check, it's Alice G. Walton. Let me just get that right again. So we have the author there. The title, we have it as, the title usually is this one. The year, I need to get that. That is, here is the year, okay? But since the month is also given, we can just write all of them, okay? Just copy all. Since the month is also given the date, although we only care about the year, okay? We don't care about the other things, but since they're also available, you can just have them there, no problem. And then the publisher. So in this case, who is the publisher? Usually is the name of the website, okay? The name of the website. So in this case, it's Forbes. So the publisher is Forbes. And then, of course, now the URL, just copy the URL in the address bar. This is the here, okay? This is a link that if you wanted to share, this is what you will click, or this is what you will send somebody. If you wanted to share this article to your friends, that's what you will copy paste and send. So once you have this, the next step is to arrange this in the same way Google Scholar would manually. So you can do this by identifying the Aswani. So in this case, if you find somebody's name in Mandiko as G. Walton, obviously the last name is the surname, okay? So the surname is Walton. And then put a comma, because after the feedback here, they put a comma, and then the other names, they just put initials, okay? So in this case, you have to put the initial with the Alice's other names. So that will be A dot G dot. When you're putting somebody's initial name as initial, you have to put the dot, okay, the period there to indicate that it's not a full name, just a shortened name. And then the next thing they did, okay, they listed the second author, but in this case, we don't have another author, just Alice alone. So we'll just go straight away to the year. So in this case, it's 2017. The year is the most important. So you can just stop there if you want. But since the month is also given, you can just write it June 30. But always start with the year if you want. You can't start with the way June 30, 2017. Always start with June, sorry, the year, comma, 30. And then full stop, because they also did that full stop out there, the closing bracket. And then the next thing they did is the title. So this is the title, 6 ways. So we have that. And then they put a full stop. I can see there's a full stop, okay, before the publisher. So the next thing they're gonna do is take the publisher, which is Forbes, okay? And then they put a full stop, and then they put this, they put a comma actually, okay? A comma, and then they put the other journal information. But in this case, since you don't have this information, we'll just put our URL, okay? So this is what we have. So this is what will be on Google, on the reference page, okay? So you have created it from scratch up, from the ground up. What will you put in the in-text citation, Walton, comma, 2017? So if you are writing and you have this, that will be Walton, comma, 17. Close your bracket. Or if it was according to Walton, okay, only 2017 will be in the parentheses. Don't include here the month, just the year alone, okay? So you can do that. So this is what you'll have on your reference page. So this is what will be on the reference page. So these are three entries. So one of them, these are from Google Scholar. This is also from Google Scholar. And this one is from the internet. So let me see if there are questions. No questions. Okay. So let me just repeat that. Okay, one more time. So you are reading an article. Okay, you that this article is good. And by the way, if the question does not really force you to use scholarly material, you can use other sources as long as they are also credible. Okay, things like Forbes are credible. So it's a very popular magazine. So, but if the question has the word use 5 quality sources, they actually mean don't use anything else that is not available on Google Scholar or any other scholarly database. So you this article, this article has given you some good ideas and you want to cite it. So what you can do, identify the author, identify the title, the date it was published, identify the publisher, and then of course get the URL, and then just rearrange it. Walton AG, then you go to open bracket, put the year, close bracket, put the title, put the publisher, and then end with the URL. So you can just do that once more. So once you identify the author, it is Walton AG. Only the surname is in full, Walton, comma, AG. Okay, and then it is 2017, but I saw they also had a month, June 30. Then get the title, put a full stop. What next? We have now the Forbes, and then we have now the URL. Just put a full stop, it's no problem. I know some put a comma, but that's for journal articles. And then we have that's the URL there. So I've realized that APA have different guidelines for citing material. There's a way you format a reference so that somebody looking at it can know this is a book. Okay, can look when somebody look at it, know this is a book. At this point, we can't know if this is a book or an article or a blog or a website. We can't know if it's a magazine. So there's a way they format the title, okay, to show that this is a book. So for scholarly materials, you don't italicize the title. But for books and scholarly material and non-scholarly material like the blogs, this title is supposed to be italicized. But if you forget to italicize, it's okay. You can be forgiven. Okay. So for scholarly materials, just copy paste whatever is on Google and paste. But for things that you get from the internet, blogs and websites, remember to italicize the title. Okay. So there's a website that can help us create all these. Okay, within few clicks than if we were to start it from the scratch like we have done here. We call it Scriber. It's not a software again. People ask me which software is that? I don't know that website. Just go to Google and search scriber.com. It will redirect you to the website. So it's just a website. So you go to citation tools. Okay, select APA generator. So it will ask you, is this a website, article, book, report, image? We have on many things. YouTube videos. Okay. You can even say it's a YouTube video you want to cite. It will generate a citation for you. It will tell you what you can put on the reference page and what you'll put in the in-text citation. So it will tell you everything. So in this case, we are working with a website. It's not a journal article, just a website. So click on the website. It will tell you input the URL. Okay. So you just go to that website that you are reading, copy the URL and paste. So what it will do, it will try to locate all the information. It will try to locate the title, the URL, the author. It will try to locate the publication date, date accessed, the website name. It will try to capture all those things and rearrange them for you. But sometimes, depending on the location of the name, the year, it may not see. Okay. For example, it may think this is the title. Take a sneak peek that will take off into. It may think this is the title because of the bigger font. Okay. It may think that is the title. It may pick something else, think that was the date. Okay. The software tries to capture everything. So it can mess sometimes. If it messes, make sure you counter check and input the details manually. Just go and copy paste, get the date, come and type here the correct date, the website name, come and write here the website date. But let's see if it will capture everything. So just paste the URL and click search. So it will identify the article. It tell you this ways. So you can just go, this is the article, go back, that is the title, 6 ways, yeah, that is the title. Click on it. It will try to fill out. You can see it has filled out the title, but you need to confirm that it's actually the title, because like I said, based on the font and the location of the title in that article, it can get it wrong. So it's upon you to counter check that it's actually grabbed the correct title. And then the authors, you can see imeweka AG Walton, last name ni Walton, unaenda na confirm the correct author, AG Walton, okay, which is correct. So check. Sometimes there can be more authors, but it can only pick to the first one. So what you do, you come here and add contributor. Okay, it will open another field where you type in the next authors. Okay, so publication date imeweka 2021, month ni December 10th. This one I think imepata wrong because hii imeandikwa 2017 30th June. So you change 2017, but the year is only kitu muhimu. Hii ingine tunaweza blank, but kama imepeanwa unaandika tu 6:30. And then date access acha naika blank. The name of the website ni Forbes. Confirm. Is this website called Forbes? Yes. Once you confirm that everything may fill out correctly, just come here and click Cite Source. Itakwambia ndio hii. So ukihover above it itakwambia to click to copy. So if I click, hivyo imecopy kwa clipboard, I can just go to my reference page. I can go to my reference page and paste it there. You can see it is the same one yenye niliunda. Everything is the same. Okay, everything is the same. Imeweka the same way niliweka everything, but it didn't have to do all this. Copy paste too. So it does that. If you're not sure what to input in the in-text citation, just hover above it, go to e-placement in-text citation. If you click on it, it will tell you for in-text and paste Walton, 2017. Click to copy, share copy clipboard, just go where you want to insert it. Kama ni hapo, paste and put a full stop at the end. But there are so many other citation generators. Mimi natumianga tu Scribble, but other people refer others. So it depends with which one you prefer using. You can just go online, angalia citation generators, fungua several, uone yenye inakubamba, tumia hiyo. Mimi natumianga Scribble, and there's a video on YouTube in explain process. Nime-explain here, so msianza kuniambia rudia, kuna video. Okay? Na video unaweza pause, unaweza rewind, unaweza reduce speed, iende pole, you can do all sorts of things. So don't tell me to repeat this because there's a video on the YouTube which I'll share with you. Okay, so that's the thing I wanted to teach. Nime exhaust. .com .coms are usually commercial websites. They are not credible or not credible. I was just saying that when you're doing research, angalianga pia nani amepublish. Ukiona kitu .com, it means it's a commercial website, and therefore juu ni biashara, fungua but ukue ready kwanza kukutana na adverts nyingi. Okay, kuwa ready kuona adverts jaa kila mahali, so be ready. It might be, but you can cite anything as long as, like, kama question ija kuforce utumie scholarly articles. If the question does not really force you to use a scholarly article, if you came here na ukapata hii idea ya Walton poa na ukaandika, si cite tu Walton. Okay, hakuna shida. Umefika hapa na umepata idea Walton poa, umeandika hiyo idea, mbona tu usimpe credit? Useme tu nilisoma article ya Walton ndio hata apate viewers wengi, watu wengi waende wasome. So kama question nimesema use scholarly resources, tafadhali don't cite kitu yenye iko kwa Google Scholar. But even then, even if the question is silent, before you go to blogs, try to find first of all kuna kitu kwa Google Scholar another site, because those are more credible. Ni poa ukicombine only sites zile umeona one hii kitu ni credible. So Forbes is a credible source on the virtue that .com, by the way, it's a website ya business. That's only ina run hapa ya Alibaba juu ni biashara. So it's a .com, yes, but it's credible by virtue it's big, it's known all over the world. So ni ngumu watake kuharibu reputation yao by posting lies. So credibility inamaanisha unaangalia huyu mtu ni nani. Huyu mtu akona track record ya kuongea uongo ama akona track record ya kuongea ukweli. If it's a big international website like Forbes, obviously they have a credibility of saying the truth, okay? So credibility doesn't imaanisha lazima ikuwe Google Scholar. It can be anything else Don't confuse the word credibility with scientific. Okay, credibility is different from the word scientific. Scientific, you have to become a scholar. In most cases, all scientific material are also credible. But when you're on Google, all .coms are not credible. So you have to ask yourself, who is this person? Who is the owner of this website? Which is this website? So in this case, Forbes is a credible. New York Times, it's a credible source. The Guardian is a credible source. Which one? The Independent is a credible source. All those bigger magazines, you can quote them, you can cite them. The Economist is a credible source. So they are also credible. So angalia, simaanishi eti.com uachane nazo zote. Unaweza tu kuwa ready for adverts na pia ukwe na ujiulize who is this person. But ukiona kitu ni dot, kama for government za government websites kama hey buddy, kama za Kenya, the government zinaisha na .go.ke. So government sources are also credible. I know some serikalis might state facts. Kenya is that no, I don't want to speak bad about my country, but I'm just saying some governments might exaggerate things. They say that we have 10,000 kilometers of roads, but in reality, it's 2,000 kilometers. But anyway, we are expected to trust the government. So government websites are actually credible. NGOs, in most cases, NGOs, we also presume they are also credible because most NGOs, they are not interested in making profits, okay? NGOs website inaishanga na .org. So ukiona .org probably is an NGO. So you can even consider that. Okay, but when you are citing, basically, before you cite someone or before you refer to someone, try to think about who is this person. So you can cite both blogs and academic sources. But if the question is categorically don't use, there's a word quality, use 5 quality sources. The word quality there is actually referring to academic. Use 5 academic sources, they actually mean use. So upper in this case, don't use things like Forbes because these are not academic. Okay, as much as they are credible, they are not academic. Yes, tumeenda 1.5 hours. I believe kama hakuna maswali we can stop there.